What's going on, guys? This will be for the replay because we're just starting things off. But what's going on? We got a few people on already. What's going on, Stacks? Dylan, nice to see you. Kevin Hawthorne. I appreciate everybody jumping on. This was kind of an impromptu thing. Just figured I'd jump on and chat. And I have this Soradora Discovery set. It's still sealed and everything. I haven't opened it. Might smell a few fragrances. Just chop it up with you guys. What's going on? Matt, Lance, nice to see all of you. A bunch of people jumping on quick, and just like that, we're over 30 people. I appreciate that, guys. Just give me 1 sec, because I was going to share it to Facebook and IG, but I guess screw it. We'll just roll with the punches here. So how's everybody doing today? What's everybody's scent of the day? Myself, I'm wearing Montal's Honey Oud. I have my Montal themed week going on, so I've strictly been wearing Montal. The weather's been mild, so I've been able to get away with some of these heavier, more beastly fragrances. And I haven't done a themed week in seems like forever, so I figured, why the hell not? I haven't been wearing anything Montal. It just made sense. Ambassador Man by Decidia. No, I've never tried that. Never tried that one before. Let's see. Jumping on a few lunches. That's what's up. I appreciate it. I need to explore that house a bit more. I don't recall ever really trying anything from them. It's interesting that you bring them up. Haunted by Making Sense. I haven't tried that one, Stacks. I have yet to try that one from Mikey. All my Making Sense stuff's right here within arm's reach. Paco Rabanne 1 million Privé. MB Club Black. I'm starting to get into the weather to where I'm going to want to wear that one too. That's some really good stuff. Let's see. Prodalome Intense. Why not? Hey, I agree. Why the hell not? Just purchased Star Walker Extreme, wearing it for the first time. What do you think about it so far? I think it's kind of just, it's okay. It's not, I don't think it's phenomenal, but I definitely don't think it's a bad fragrance either, you know? Stupid ads. Hold on. Like I said, I want to share this just across platforms. Normally, I would do this while the little 30-second countdown's going, but it dawned on me when there was like 10 seconds left. So I was like, oh, never mind. On YouTube. I'll just share this stuff real quick. So let's see, what else, everybody? I only bring up just because Judo Rose has a 15% off code. I like to make the most out of those opportunities because I pay full retail always. Gotcha. Black Phantom and By the Fireplace mix. So he does a lot of these hybrids. It's going to be hard to top Fallen Leaf, though. And we're starting to get into Fallen Leaf season. Speaking of Mikey Dinsmore's blends. Let's see. Bro, that Armoff Sillage smells horrible. Not everything's for everyone. Every time I mention it, I talk about how some people absolutely love it and some people can't stand how synthetic it is. I get it. Not everything's for everyone. Pierre Cardin, I haven't smelled since I was a single-digit age child. That was the very first fragrance I ever owned, was a splash bottle of Pierre Cardin. I couldn't even tell you what that smells like anymore, and I have not tried Davidoff Zeno. Let's see. All right. So we got that on Facebook. Let's see. Fragrance Buy has some bottles of Hot Fragrance Company scents. I sampled Or Noir and Sword Dancer. Really worth sampling. I love them. Grabbing a bottle of each. I've never tried anything from the brand. Oolong Cha. You can't go wrong with Oolong Cha. One of the better freshies out there for sure. See, look, here we go. The other side of the coin. Armoff Sillage is beautiful, especially in the dry down. Everybody has different taste, you know. My wife really loves it. I like it a lot. I think it's a great fragrance. My wife likes it even more than I do. King Yeti, what's going on, big dog? Let's see. Jump back over here. One more little quick. Oh, damn it. IG can be a pain sometimes. Join me on YouTube. Hold on 1 sec, guys. I apologize for the delay here. Let's see. Put some random music. That'll work. All right. Done with that. Tom Ford Oud Mineral. I'm glad you asked about that one. So that is one of the Tom Fords on my list of next fragrances I'm buying, which is probably going to be in the fall. I did a lot of spring, early summer purchasing, and I still have several fragrances I haven't even spent time with yet to review. So probably this fall, even though that's not really a fall fragrance, it's one I've been wanting. I have never tried it. It's going to be a blind buy for me. I've heard some talk about it. I've heard Hunter talk about it. I've heard Justin talk about it. So I have an idea of what it's going to smell like. And I really think I'm going to like that one. So pretty excited. Honest Fragrance Reviews in the house. What's going on, big dog? Happy Friday to you as well. Hot Review. Nice to see you. Maroon, how are you, my friend? Prodalome. Is that you asking me what do I think about Prodalome? Let's type out the full question. Because I'm not sure exactly what you're asking me. You haven't been watching me for a long time if you're asking me if I like Prodalome. You must be a recent subscriber, which I appreciate you. And earthy and marine like. That's what I hear. Kind of a dry wood type of smell, basically. That's I don't know. It sounds like something different and something enjoyable, something I would like. Because these oddly attractive fragrances, I dig stuff like that. How was the trip? Trip was very good. Had a great time. There's a bunch of content that has not come out yet on all 3 channels. Let's see. It's always nice when we get together. You know, it's one of those deals where we spent 2 days to get kind of almost 2 full days, because we flew in Tuesday afternoon, and we flew out Thursday afternoon. So it kind of broke down to 2 full days combined, spread over 3 days. But we had a good time. It's always nice when we get together. I have no idea. It's not on my short list of fragrances I want to buy. That's one that I want to get a decant of first. I don't want to blind buy that one because I don't know if it's just code with iris. That doesn't really excite me too much. I want to try it first to make sure it's going to be something I wear, because I have so much at this point. Only want to buy stuff that I really think I'm going to get some wear out of, which I know is a kind of a strong statement because I just have too much shit at this point to get a lot of wear out of anything, really. Let's see. No, I haven't tried Gris Charnel yet. I think Justin got his bottle from Twisted Lily. I got 30 plus wears across the original and the X straight in 6 months already. The 2022 Dumb Reach. That's a powerful statement right there. I've had a bunch of people ask me if I've tried Gris Charnel yet. I haven't. I keep hearing nothing but positivity from viewers, from other people that make content. I need to try it, apparently. Amber Oud Tobacco Edition. Autumn in a Bottle. Mancera Oud Lemon Mint. Versatile is a strong statement when there's oud based in the fragrance. It all depends on your perception. For an oud fragrance, it's pretty versatile, but you will smell plenty of oud. There's a creamy almond lemon smell in there. That's the beauty of the fragrance, in my opinion, but the oud is definitely present. So it's hard for me to really call an oud fragrance that versatile when it's prominent. You know, when it's just a little backdrop note that provides a little warm wood smell, that's different. But here you actually get a pretty decent dose of the oud that Mancera uses. So I wouldn't call it the most versatile fragrance in the world, but as far as an oud-based fragrance, it's pretty versatile. Feel it's overshadowed by the 1 million line, Invictus line. Any thoughts on it? I've never tried any of those, believe it or not. Pure XS or Pure XS Night. Black XS, the original XS, the old formula or the newer one. I haven't tried any of those. Paco Rabanne, outside of the Invictus line and the 1 million line, I never tried any of the other stuff from them. I was always a big fan of the Invictus line. That's no secret. And then with the 1 million line, I only like certain ones. I'm really big on Lucky and Privé. Soleil d'Italie. Damn good freshy choice for sure. Justin is fucking silly. He must. Oh God, yeah. When Justin's comfortable with you, Justin really cuts up. He's much more. I've said this before on video. He's much more of a clown than you guys even know. Justin's a clown. He's very not really reserved, but I guess you could say a little bit more calm and calculated on video, whereas he's still that in person, but he lets his personality fly. He cuts up, cracks jokes, does voices, all that stuff. He's a good time. Probably the only second bottle I've ever managed to empty. Aqua di Gio Absolute is better than the EDT. I agree. I completely agree. I think Absolute is underrated. Ordering my textbooks for this fall. That's what's up. Glad you jumped online and decided to jump on here with us. Intense Cafe for the first time yesterday. Out complimented anything I have. That's impressive. I debated on wearing Intense Cafe this week. That's one of the few that didn't make it in this week's Montal themed week. That Spicy Oud is another one that didn't make it into the rotation. And there's like two others. I can't really see down the little area on the shelf where they go. Because I have like 11 or 12 bottles from Montal, and 7 of them are in the rotation this week. I have yet to try the Parfum either, though. Acqua di Gio Profumo, best of the line, in my opinion. The best smelling and one of the best performing. And in my opinion, the most versatile. That's the one that dresses up really well. The others are much more casual. All of the others are much more casual. This one has a refinement to it, a little bit of class and elegance. I think it's because of the use of the patchouli and incense combo with that marine tone. It's a beautiful fragrance. I'm very sparing when I wear it. Very sparing. It's more situational. It's dressier occasion, semi-dress occasion in the warmer weather is when I like to wear that, but it works year round. I think it's great fragrance. Appreciate we're currently up to 72. I appreciate all of you in here. I guess, I don't know, just chat with you guys. There's no need to do any fragrance sampling at the time. The original or ristretto. I'm assuming based on how he typed it out, the original. I guess he'll elaborate further if he wants, I'm sure. Acqua di Gio Profumo is a beast in the wintertime. It's definitely one of the better fresh fragrances for the winter. That's for sure. So here we go, the original. Obviously, they come with an expired, but well, it depends. The higher the quality of the oils, the longer they're going to last. But the more dominant the citrus in a fragrance, the more the top will sour. So it all depends, because I have designer fragrances that are 20 years old that just the top note, the first 5 minutes is a little soured, and the rest of the way the fragrance is beautiful. It all depends. If you store everything properly, and especially if you're the type that's into higher quality fragrances, I've never experienced the niche fragrance going bad, but I've only had niche fragrances for, handful of years now. And it's like I said, I have like a 1994 bottle of Tiffany for Men. I have a 1999 bottle of vintage Nautica. Trying to think what other old bottles I have. And like the Tiffany, not spoiled at all. Beautiful sandalwood, carnation, spicy orris fragrance. Smells amazing. Still performs great, the whole nine. So it all depends. If you store everything properly and you don't just buy cheapies all the time, if you buy some, decent quality designers and some higher level, some niche fragrances and stuff like that, usually they'll last a good ways if you keep them out of the light and, in a pretty regulated temperature, not in your bathroom kind of thing. The broken record, don't keep them in your bathroom. Bought Ristretto thing, the coffee would outpower the rose. Well, that was a silly blind buy. Lots of new viewers, Ross. Blowing up, homie. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're halfway to a silver play button. I'm going to write a letter to Santa next year. So for Christmas 2023, based on future projections based on the current trend with Social Blade, it's projecting me to be silver play button around Christmas next year. That would be great. I have no control over it, but that would be amazing. So fingers crossed that next year for Christmas, I get a silver play button. That would be cool. But I mean, if I don't grow anymore, it is what it is. I'm glad to have all of you for sure. I'm goal oriented. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to achieve these milestones, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. However long it takes is however long it takes. Not a fan of oud. So many options are limited with that note. There's actually quite a bit of oud options out there. There's some that it depends on if you want to veer away from dominating oud or supportive oud. More synthetic oud, very natural oud can be a bit challenging. So it all depends on where on the scale you want to end up. There's actually more variety than I think you really can perceive when it comes to oud. 1 Million Parfum is golden, to be honest. Zaharoff makes tons of great stuff. I have a sample of Naxos. I've never tried Herba Pura. Haven't tried Alexandria too. I've tried 40 Knots. I have Mephisto. I have Acento, but there's a ton that I haven't tried. Everything I've ever smelled from them has been great, though. Great quality, great performance. Just well blended. Zaharoff's a great house. Great house. Like I said, don't have a ton of stuff from them, but what I have tried is really freaking good. I'm guessing you meant Pure XS. Fire smells like Coca-Cola fizzy smell. I might like that then. Montal for South Florida climate. Stuff like Fougères Marine. It's basically a more aquatic niche version of Tommy Cologne from Tommy Hilfiger. I wore that one 2 days ago. That's one of my 3 favorites for sure. I love that one. It's really, really good fragrance. Is Rayon Tradition Insurrection 2 Wild worth blind buying? It's selling for cheap. It's selling for cheap everywhere. I've never tried that one. I just have Insurrection 2 Pure, the Aventus clone. Average performance at best, slightly below average, more of a musky tone to Aventus. It's solid, but I've heard good things about Wild, and I forgot the name of the other one. Damn it. The 3 originals, Pure, Wild, and it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember, but I haven't tried it personally. Sean, I appreciate the super chat. Just stopping by to say hello and happy Friday. I watch your videos pretty much every morning. Salute to you, my man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the support. Seriously. Another $5 super chat. Mark Leese, thank you so much, man. So I'm guessing you mean Blue Noir Parfum. So I've had a bunch of people ask me about that one. I've heard good things. I've spotted it on eBay for around $70-ish from a few different sellers. That may have to go into the fall order with the Tom Fords I plan on getting, because that one, see, I've looked at the notes. It seems to be very intriguing. Like, this could be a fantastic fragrance. So glad you brought that up. I haven't tried it yet, but I would like to get it before this year is out. So, and that's one that if I get it, I'm going to do a full review on it. So, not really if I get it, more like when I get it. I want to get that one in the Eau de Parfum. Those two seem like ones I would enjoy. You know, Iris, stuff like that. I don't like every single Iris fragrance. That's why I'm skeptical about Armani Code Parfum. I want to sample that one first. I don't want to just roll the dice. But I appreciate the super chat and appreciate you being here. Thank you very, very much. Oh, if I had to pick one, I would take Profumo. For as much as I love Profondo, I think it's one of the better blue fragrances to come out in the last few years. Profumo is just too good. I think it's the king of the Acqua di Gio Mountain. EDP is the one people like. Yeah, EDP is the one that got the most love for the longest in recent memory, but the Parfum's a release for this year. And I've seen some pretty good feedback on it. And it seems like, based on the note breakdown, is something I would enjoy. Kevin, what's going on? Nice to have you. Danger Parfum Pour Homme, which I don't own. That's my favorite fragrance from them. The Parfum Cologne's just a fresher take on it. It's not as dense, not as herbal and spicy. It's a bit fresher. The citrus pops a little bit more. The greens are a little bit fresher. It's not quite as spicy. A little bit of a tonka bean feel in the backdrop. So the two dangers, I would say, because they're just so freaking versatile. And then fragrances like Oceania and Elysium, of course, are awesome. Amber Oud is fantastic. And then Oligarch Parfum. I've been wearing that one quite a bit this year. Oligarch Parfum is really good. Can't get it right now, but if they rename it or whatever they do to get that damn thing back on the market, that's a good one. No, I haven't tried the special blend. I've never tried that one before. Ralph's Club or Office for Men? If performance matters to you, Office for Men for sure. Office for Men's really good. Bergamot, Amber, and Broxton, kind of the main things you'll smell out of that one. Super mass appealing. I mean, it's what Jeremy was going for. He nailed it. Alberto Marias nailed it for him. Ralph's Club's really nice though, but if you have to have more than 5 or 6 hours out of your fragrance, Office for Men would be the way to go. But there's a big price difference there. So if you're willing to sacrifice and just have to refresh at some point during your day, you could go with Ralph's Club. But just know that Office for Men's a beast. Thank you, sir. I put every frag in a fridge at cool 50 degrees. That's taking it serious right there. You know, it's not a bad thing. That's definitely keeps them regulated. The only thing I have against doing stuff like that is when you pull it out, it's a kind of a drastic temperature change. If it's 75 degrees in your household and you're pulling it out at 50 degrees, 25 degrees is a drastic shift. So that's the only thing that would concern me with that. That's cool water from 01. Still smells amazing. That's another old bottle I have. The mild deodorant spray. That's from the early 2000s, the one I have. And it still smells like freaking brand new bottle of cool water. I don't know about 100 years. I mean, most people don't live that long to test that theory, you know. But a lot of them will last for sure. Appreciate you taking time to do a live for you viewers. Ross, keep doing great work as usual. Thank you so much, Luke. I appreciate that, man. Seriously. 60 degrees is the sweet spot. Street Sense. Al, what's going on, my man? What's good, Ross? Stopped in to say hi. I appreciate that, OG. Thanks so much for stopping in, my man. Those of you that don't know Al, you might be newer to the hobby. Al's been around here on YouTube for a long, long time. Legend in fragrance content. That's the original on the street asking people their opinions guy right there. Thank you so much for stopping in, Al. Future Vibe, awesome. So I'm slowly getting to Issey Miyake more and more. It's just there's just so many fragrances out there to try. It can be overwhelming sometimes, especially when it comes to designer fragrances. There's just a ridiculous amount of designer fragrances that are coming out every year on and year out. I have smelled tobacco oud before. It's very nice. It's just a lot of these private blend fragrances. They're so expensive that I want to wait for signature line level, which I've heard rumors for a while now that's supposed to come back in the signature line, because I plan on getting Costa. That's another, speaking of Tom Ford, I plan on getting Costa Azura, the EDP. I like it more than the Parfum from the signature line, as well as both versions of Ombre Leather, which my decants are just about out. They're right here. So I'm more of a Tom Ford signature line kind of guy, because I feel like you're not really sacrificing much in quality versus the private blends. Yeah, the private blend's a little better, but we're talking about a lot more money, you know. Recent buy was Salvatore Ferragamo. I'm assuming Aqua Essenziale Colonia, which was 6 years old according to batch code. Should I be worried? I wouldn't be. It was sealed. When they're sealed and haven't been atomized, you're good. You're good. That's people. There's certain older discontinued gems that people would go nuts over on eBay if they could find sealed, even 15, 20-year-old bottles. Sealed, you're good if it's sealed. I agree. Once you start dipping your toes in the oud, you'll be surprised on the different scent profiles it can give you. Absolutely, Russ. Absolutely, because it all depends on the quality, and because there's just so much variety. That the natural oud oils, that's the real challenge. If you like stuff like that, you definitely like more artsy type of fragrances. But a lot of this, even lower level niche, Montal, Mancera, and everything, that's not really natural oud from what I understand. And I can see why it's a little bit more on the mass appealing side, not the most challenging stuff out there, because I have smelled more expensive ouds where it was like, whew, maybe not for me, you know? And then some designer stuff where it just smells designer, it smells synthetic, doesn't come across as natural. Love me some oud. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, Brian? Nice to see you. Glad you could join us here for a little bit. I just randomly wanted to chop it up. I had some free time, not at the gym today. It's an off day. I went 4 days straight, so it was time to give my body a little break today, and figured I'd jump on and chat with you guys. Love Zaharoff fragrances, but I kind of feel like Citrine is an Emperor New Clothes scenario. every day. Everyone says how awesome. Okay, everyone, because yeah, it's just not typed out all the way. Everyone says how awesome it smells, but can only smell it for a brief moment after I spray it. It's a skin chemistry thing, because I know for George himself, he gets crazy projection and sillage out of it. And then for me, I get pretty long lasting staying power, but it's not real strong off of my skin unless I heat up. That's one of those fragrances that needs the heat. Aromatics, what's going on, Neve? How are you, my man? Mr. Got Plenty. All the fragrances in the Rodriguez line are really good. That's what I hear. Also want to say again how awesome you've been doing with the workouts. Do you have a favorite lift? I don't have a specific favorite lift. Mine used to be deadlift, but it changed to standing military press. I haven't been deadlifting lately. I was deadlifting pretty consistently for a little while, and I kind of got away from it. I don't know. I need to go back to it. I like to switch things up. Some things I'll come back to and get away from, and I like to always change things up. I try to not do the exact same workout every week. I never do the exact same workouts every week. I always change something out. Some weeks will be strictly, hammer strength stuff. Sometimes it'll be barbells mixed with dumbbells. Sometimes it's strictly dumbbell workouts. Sometimes it's dumbbells and cables. Like I'm interchanging. That's why I like to go to bigger gyms that have a lot of variety available. Because if you just do the same shit over and over, you hit walls a lot easier. You'll hit plateaus pretty easily. Absolutely love Narcisco Blue Noir Parfum. See, that's what I'm saying. I've heard great things about. I think that's going to be the first one I get. I haven't tried any of the Blue Noir fragrances, and I think that's going to be the first one. Did you get a bottle, or maybe Justin gave you a sniff? No, Royal Tobacco. Haven't tried it. Him and Andrea were talking about it though. They did when we were randomly having a discussion when we weren't filming. They were talking about it. I don't remember exactly what they said. I think they said something about it being kind of ridiculously earthy and powerful. If my memory could not be serving, it's possible it's not serving me correctly, so don't quote me on that. But I want to say that's what they were saying, that it's really earthy and super, super powerful. You've tried Oud for Glory before Oud for Greatness. And to be very similar, gives an idea of what type of oud while costing close to nothing. Yeah, that's in that like $30, $40 range. And then just a few bucks more, you can go the route of Supremacy and Oud from Afnan. That's a really good one too. Sishman Prefet, I've been told it's officially discontinued. It hasn't gotten any love in a long time, even for me. I have a bottle of it. It's nice. It's more on the synthetic, sweet, boozy side, but it's always been a nice fragrance. There's a little bit of spice to it. I've always kind of called it the On the Prowl scent. Those of you that have been around my channel since the beginning, you've heard me say that before. It's a good fragrance for a single man. It's got that I'm looking to be naughty type of appeal to it. When you're out it's a good bar hopping scent. If you're a young man hopping the bars, chasing tail, the whole nine, that's a good fragrance for that. I think that's one of the reasons I don't really wear it anymore. I've been happily married for many years. But my wife does like it. She prefers more of a lot of the La Nuit de l'Homme flankers. It's kind of her favorites on my skin, so I don't really mess with it too much. Iris is that buttery lipstick. Yeah, anytime you smell that lipsticky quality, it's usually a designer iris. Tend to be a bit more waxy. Dark is the other insert. That's what it is. I couldn't think of the damn name. Thank you, Russ. Weekend is final clearance. TJ Maxx and Marshalls saying, well, they would have to have something worth buying. Marshalls here sucks. That's why you hardly ever see Marshalls in any of my rack store videos over here. We got one between here and Denver, and which Denver's an hour and a half away. I'm not driving an hour and a half to go to Marshalls. So TJ Maxx is sometimes, but Burlington's always my best bet, and it's been a lot of missing for them lately too. So yeah, that's why you don't see that many rack store videos. I go pretty often. I start filming walking into it, but as soon as I get to the fragrance section, if it's a complete disappointment, I just turn my camera off and go look at something else, because it's been a lot of complete disappointments. Sampled Oceania and couldn't handle the potpourri smell. Potpourri smell? To each their own. If you smell potpourri, I guess you smell potpourri. I do not relate to what you're saying at all. I was actually going to pick up Danger Parfum When you say it's spicier, is it heavier on the cumin? Yes, it's definitely a little bit heavier on the cumin, and the greens are a bit more dense. It comes across a little bit warmer, but not warm to the point of Scandal type of warm and spicy green. So if you've smelled Scandal, because they're both aromatic fougères, it's just Scandal so much more about spicy warm greens. Whereas you get a little bit of that in Danger, you're dialed up on the freshness, but that added spice comes in a little bit more of a animalic tone, I guess you could say. It's a little bit more coumarin for sure, but it's gorgeous. Danger Parfum is freaking gorgeous. One day I will have a bottle of that. I'm good with the Parfum Cologne for now, but one day I'll have a bottle of that. That stuff's amazing. Best tobacco scent in the game is, for me, that would be Argos Triumph of Bacchus. I absolutely love that stuff. Hold on for a second. I had somebody just text me that wants the link. I am quite surprised this person is looking to jump on right now. So give me 1 second, guys. Copy link. Message. Paste. All right. For the gentleman that requested the link, check your IG page. I just sent it to you. Oh, Jesus. All right. That's not good enough. I got to send it on Facebook. Bear with me for 1 second, guys. He would prefer it on Facebook Messenger. Let's see. All right. It's on Facebook Messenger. All right. Close that off. We're back. Mark Leese with another super chat. I appreciate that, man. Please don't buy the Armani Code Parfum. Just bought it, not happy with it at all. Does not smell at all like the original. Thanks for your videos. Like, at all? Seriously? That's disappointing. Because what I'm hoping for with it is a little bit of a twist in the DNA, but not a far venturing from the DNA with Iris. That's kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping in an idealistic situation, it would be the original scent profile plus Iris, because I still think the original is the best smelling one. I've always thought that. Grab my headphones because we have somebody joining us here in just a moment. So sorry for all this extracurricular activity, guys. It's just I wasn't anticipating any guests, but I am pretty happy that the person that wants to jump on has made a little time to jump on. Let me see. Where's headphones? There we go. All right. We'll switch over to headphones. Man, that's disappointing to hear that you don't like it, man. I have not tried grapefruit and sage. I've heard it's kind of on the basic side. There was a time when it first was hitting the rack stores that I was excited to find it. I went looking for it at Nordstrom Rack, and I kind of got away from it because I've heard how just basic it is. I was like, I don't need it. You know, if I can find it for $25, if I happen to stumble across it, I'll probably pick it up, but I'm not actively seeking it anymore. So another good one, there's a few good ones. So Red Tobacco is really good. Signature Tobacco, of course, is really good. Actually, with fall rolling around, that's one I'm going to be reaching for. Triumph of Bacchus, I like more so in the winter, but cooler fall. I like to grab that. What's another really good one? A discontinued gem, Tobacco Reserve from Aramis. That's always really good. So, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest has decided to jump on. We have Mr. George Zaharoff. How are you, Georgie?
I'm good. How are you? Hello, everybody.
Plain. I appreciate you jumping on. I see you're at work still. How's your day treating you?
It's going good. I saw you online. I'm like, let me jump in and say a quick hello.
I appreciate
and
that.
Say hello to the crew here. Let me see. Oh, Russ.
Anything exciting happening at work today?
Just planning out for fall and just trying to get things done. I'm testing out the labels on the candles because I want to make sure that the candles go good with the
so it doesn't like start to come off from the heat.
Yeah. So there's a very special glue that I use for the bottles. It's like once it's on, it can't come off. So
yeah.
Hi, room. Hello, everybody.
Dry down, low down. We got Joe in the house. Russell's in here. We got Brian in here. A lot of familiar names. Richard Spurgeon. A lot of people. A lot of familiar names.
Did I interrupt anything? Because I just saw you. I'm like, let me just for a minute and say hello to everybody.
I had an agenda kind of that I was going to do some sniffing with this discovery set, but right off the get, like in the first 30 seconds, I had 30 people jump on. So I just started chopping it up and said, screw it. We'll just chat. So that's what we've been doing for a little while.
What discovery shot do you have?
So this is from Sora Dora. They recently sent me a fragrance called Gladiator. I just put the review out yesterday. Super impressed with that. And they also sent this discovery set. And Clifton told me one of their fragrances, Mandalore, I believe is what it's called. He said that's like the best from the house. So I want to try that. It's still sealed. I haven't opened it yet.
Dora. Where are they based in?
France.
Paris.
Yeah, they're France. Yeah, it's a French niche house.
Look at that.
The cap looks like a piece of marble, but it's not heavy like marble. It's got a little piece of plastic on the inside where it hits the collar when you put it on, but it's pretty hefty 50 mLs.
The bottle's beautiful. I see Gladiator. Do you know anything about the history or who owns it or where the history of it?
No, I do not. I know they're pretty new. I want to say the brand's only been around for maybe 2 years, but I don't know all the details.
Hi, DDLD. Hi, Joe.
Allie's in the house too. George Hart Candles. Woohoo.
Yeah, all the candles. They should be out probably this month or so. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But
leather tobacco.
I'm excited.
I'm ready for leather tobacco.
I've got it. I don't know if it's right there. This stuff is really good. This is going to be the actual juice. I'm not coloring it.
Yeah, this is
good.
This is, you guys hear me talk about how rosé is the best of the house and it's going to be hard to top. This is the one that I'm still indifferent on if it can top it or not, but it's going to rival it as far as how much everybody loves rosé. It's going to be a similar thing with leather tobacco. Leather tobacco is better than tobacco. It's very animalic. It punches you in the top, but it's classy at the same time. You know, typical Zaharoff stuff. It's not going to be off the wall with not being a classy, gentlemanly fragrance, but it's got that animalic bite that you like with, think private blend leather on the Tom Ford side, but even a little touch higher the quality than that, you know.
Very good with your descriptives. I like that. It's very true. And
got a lot of bite.
And I didn't want to be lazy and do, take tobacco and put leather, which is what I had initially thought, because tobacco was so awesome to add leather and be done. But then it smelled like tobacco with leather, and I wanted to push a little bit the envelope and have a different tobacco. It's a different tobacco than what's in tobacco. And the leather is more of, I call it a fetish leather, but what would you call it?
That's not a bad, I would call it more of an animalic. It's an animalic leather.
Yeah.
It is for sure. That's why I say it's got that little bit of that rough and tumble feel that you get with an animalic leather, but it's so smooth because of the way Claude blended everything.
Right.
Because I smelled the rendition he's talking about, guys, where it was just tobacco with leather. Then Claude, it was good, but Claude reworked it completely and kind of made a new fragrance with the tobacco DNA, and it's awesome.
Right.
I can't wait for you guys to try it.
What does George mean by a fetish leather? If you've ever worn like a ball gag, or you ever had like something in your mouth, that ties it, that's what I'm talking about.
From the mind of Triple X, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like ball gag. Oh my God.
If you've ever had a ball gag in your mouth,
and you smelled it, that's what I'm talking about.
What a great descriptor.
See, Scent Hunter, see? They know.
There you go. S&M leather. There you go. Russell's got a kinky side. There you go.
I don't have my fan. I have to go because I'm getting warm now talking about
You don't have a bunch of fans at the office too?
I don't. They're all at the house because they're all boxed up because.
You created a monster with Andrea.
Oh, really?
God.
She loves the fan.
Yeah, she loves the fan. He gave Andrea a fan, guys, and now she's
The red one.
all the time. Yeah.
My scent of the day is the rosé.
Hard to beat.
So I'm going to see Antonia. I'm going to see The Devil Wears Prada tonight, and they have the play, the musical.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that's an older movie, but
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a play.
It just came out, and it's so popular that it's going to Broadway. They're moving it to New York on Monday. So by the time it trickled down to me, I'm like, oh my God, let's go. And it's like, oh my, I have a week left. So we went and Pula, your cat of 9 tails. What does that mean? Am I missing something?
I don't know. I wanted to have a little, let's see, Hex Tank Apologist. I finally completed my Zaharoff signature collection. Just need the Z collection, but I fear I missed out. Bring them back. Unfortunately, my friend, you did miss out. We want to stick with our word that they're not coming back. Yep, that was it.
If there's ever, like, I don't want to say never, never, but the next couple of years out, so we're expanding to the European market next year, and the leather to back, there's XXX, there's an Extreme coming, which is, I took the signature and I really dialed up the oud, which is freaking incredible. And that's basically it for next year. I might do a gourmand that I've been wanting to do. I pushed it to next year because the leather to back was so wonderful. I wanted it to come out. Yeah. Where am I going with this? So next year, I'm going to be focusing more on the expansion into the European market, the office in Paris, and anything to do with Siren or Breast and Soul or Business Over Pleasure will have to be probably 2025, if that ever happens.
So there you go, guys. There's a possibility for a few, 4 or 5 years from now, but not anytime soon, at least.
I just can't. We said it was a project that was a beginning and an end, and I'm glad that we did it. Very grateful for everyone that got in on it, of course, but it's not something that I wanted to have a long-term. I didn't want that. It wasn't the project, and Mon didn't want that either. And so, anyway, so that's it too.
That's fair. Yeah, you definitely have a lot going on. That's for sure. A recent homeowner doing a remodeling on top of all of this work going on in multiple countries.
Right. Can I show
a lot? So let's see. Been waiting on a gourmand. Never got to try the Siren, but I hear it's Black Phantom. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Black Phantom. I wouldn't sit there and call it 1-to-1, but there are some similarities because it's a darker gourmand, but it's not the same fragrance,
I think for the Zaharoff gourmand, it's so they took the bee. What is it called again?
It's a honeycomb absolute.
That's it. So
it's got actual honeycomb in it,
and they took the oil from the honeycomb instead of honey.
It's an animalic. If you can imagine an animalic honey, and it's ridiculously strong. At like 18%. It's ridiculously strong.
It smells like amber. It's so incredible and so beautiful. It literally, it's honeycomb, but it smells like amber.
It's very spicy too, but the spice doesn't take over this honeyed amber smell. It's a very thick, sticky smelling, when we say honey, we don't mean crazy sweet. Like it's not overly sweet. It's more ambery. That's like he's saying, it's got a strong amber feel to it. That was going to be this year's fall fragrance, right, George?
Right. And when
but leather tobacco is too good to not release right away.
So the leather tobacco, when Claude did that again, gave it to me in spring, I was like, this has to come out now, because it deserves to be part of the collection. And what I want to do is, so what's happening, first of all, thank you everyone in the room. I see Hot Review. I see everyone signature. thank you so much for the support and the love from the very beginning. I mean,
Do you know who Hot Review is?
who?
You know who Hot Review is?
I don't.
He came out to see us at Door Prestige when we were in California. I apologize. I don't remember your name off the top of my head. He was the thinner gentleman. He's on IG under the Hot Review.
He's IG, correct?
Yeah, he's a very classy gentleman. That's why it's the Hot Review is the name of his content, because he likes finer things, watches and stuff like that.
Can we have his name again, just so Alan? Hi, Alan.
Alan. That's what it is.
Thank you, Alan.
Sorry so much, Alan. I'm terrible with names. I'm picturing you. I'm great with faces. I'm terrible with names.
Allie,
yeah,
Allie is Joe's wife.
Yeah, that's Mrs. DDLD.
Okay, hi, Allie. Thank you, Joe. I'm glad. Now I'm putting it all together. I'm a big fan of Joe, and I would love to.
Me too.
I would love to do something with him with his T-shirts. I mean, I'm always here if you ever want to do anything. I love interacting with the community. I love giving back because the community has given so much to myself and to Zaharoff, and a lot of people frown upon that, but I just think that, oh, well, I don't know.
No, it's not a lot of people. It's a small group of people.
And I just, right, it's a small group of people, but, yeah. I see, it's interesting. You and we have talks, and people are like, well, if someone's thinking about Ross, first of all, Ross is one of the, hold on, I don't want to say that either. Ross is very good at descriptives. So if I'm developing a fragrance, Ross will be able to give it words and descriptives and help me, because I don't work in a bubble. When you're creating, I create for people. I create for the Zaharoff man. I don't create for George Zaharoff. And sometimes you have a close group of people that I send it to, and I said, okay, Ross, what do you think of this one? When it's, when we're about at the final part, I go, Ross, what do you think of this? And so he tells me what his thoughts are. And so I need people around me that won't yes me or won't feel bad telling me.
There's a few things you can, we won't specifically go into detail, but you can vouch for them. Like, good God, George, you can't release this. This smells too much like this, or this is awful, or that happens. The reason you don't see those in videos, because he doesn't release stuff that's not amazing. He goes through me and all of the rest that are in the circle that get to sample and be kind of like the trial run of feedback for these fragrances, the critiques,
But
it's to help Zaharoff put out the best product that they can.
Right. And your stuff, Ross, and I'm very grateful to have someone like you that I could turn to and say, hey, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And it's just a small group that I respect, and I really appreciate it. And I try to be as open as possible. I interact with many, many people in the community. I bring them to my home. I bring them to my office. I bring them into my world. I try to show. I like to teach. I like to inspire. And so I love it. I love this. I love coming on and hanging out with you, talking to everyone here. I love all of this, because this is
we appreciate you, George.
This is the future of. There's nowhere else for this space to go. Nowhere else. The brick and mortars and it's broken, and I just see it all coming here. And I see mega brands. I say this to Ross too. I see, these channels becoming their own brands. It's just inevitable. But I see Allie, if you wanna, I'm sorry, if it's better half, okay, better half. Yeah. I don't know you though, Allie, so I hope to meet you one day.
And Joe said, anyone who frowns upon Zaharoff has heat with me, and I use a lot of profanity. That's why me and Joe get along. I use a lot of profanity as well. A DDLD fragrance collab would be great, says Sean Tillman.
You never know. I would love that.
Mass Man, how are you?
Hi, Mass Man.
Keep doing your thing, George. Don't worry about all that other stuff.
As long as I know that I move forward, I believe in moving forward. Transparency is what I wanted to say. And I try to engage in collabs that benefits everybody, and like I said, inspires, enhances, and elevates. And I think I've done that. I think I've done that. Anyway, enough about me. What do you think of me? So, Kid Cool. So there is a rose flanker too. There's a black rose. I took rosé. It's so beautiful, and I wanted to darken it up a bit, but I didn't want it to be noir and rosé mixed together. So we did another rose, but made it darker, and it's called
Black Rose.
Black Rose. It's beautiful.
Wait till you guys see the packaging. Holy shit.
Yeah, I love doing it. And there's
holy shit
coming. There's a privé actually coming. Probably, I would probably say they're the end of next year, the beginning of the following year, and that's off the charts. Just next level. I'm really excited about that. And if you're looking at my movements, I've been doing this since I was 20, but with all the ups and downs, it's just I always say movement is life, and I try to be conscious in the moment and make decisions, but I'm trying to, what's the word, Ross? Because you're witnessing this from the sideline or witnessing it. What would you say the push that you see, the energy from George Zaharoff and Zaharoff going into what would you?
Well, the thing is, you're doing things that other brands aren't willing to put up with to execute the vision that they see. Because there's a lot of stress, guys, that comes with collaborating with content creators, giving the level of freedom he gave us for the Z Creators Project, for example, and all of the stresses of being the end all be all, the start and the finish of every product that comes out. It comes from his creative mind. He only works with the best. That's why he's got Claude Deer as perfumer, his graphic design guy that brings to life the vision of these drafts and ideas that George comes up. David's been with you for how many years now, George? It's since he was a kid.
David, yeah, 18. I was 20.
And how old's David now?
He's 2 years younger than me. He's 49 years old.
See, so it's been built over time, and it's very calculated, and you're human, and in business, sometimes your greatest successes are learning from your greatest failures. And that's evident with the evolution of Zaharoff. And I think all the different things that you're bringing into the space with what's coming and what's been going on, and the constant visual evolution of everything about Zaharoff, from the packaging, the evolution of scent profiles, the flankers of flankers, just the leather goods, everything you're doing, it really makes you kind of a unicorn in the space. As others have heard me say before you, I've told you that many times. And that's why I think within 5 years, we actually talked about this last night, within 5 years, there's going to be acquisition firms or divisions from certain companies ringing your phone up to buy the company from you. I really believe that's in the next 5 years.
Well, I think that
because you're making a lot of noise for being a small brand operating as a much larger brand.
Right. And, it's hard for Divine. I see all the comments, and thank you guys. I think that to expand to other markets, it takes things to a whole other level, because if you're selling one perfume, opening Italy is now selling 3. So it's not that easy. When we make everything. We make the bottle. I make the bottles, the caps, the fragrances. I create everything. It comes through my hands, and I have to pace myself, because you can't go from selling, let's say, 50,000 bottles to, 300,000 in a year. It's a lot, especially when you have 10 different SKUs. I mean, this is not. How do I say this? It's not just the sticker and a screw and that's it. It's very there's a lot of components, and each component is, even like the cap. Each cap for the fragrance is different for each flavor, and so it's not like I could just buy 100,000 black caps and it will take. I have to do different types of black caps, or different reds and different gold, and because I want the experience. I want the experience. I want the person that is being a part of that vision. I want it to be, I don't know, I've said this to you, Ross. and I see. I'm going to get too deep, and I don't want to get too carried away. But it's a very holy. It's a very spiritual, holy, like it's something to be cherished and honored by the relationship I have with someone who has a bottle on their dresser and sees. I mean, it's unbelievable to me, and it's such a blessing, and it needs to be honored. And I want that to be a world class, something that is worthy enough to be on that counter. And I even say my relationships, with, let's say, anyway, you understand. I'm very grateful. That's all.
Before we get into this question, I want to give my thoughts on Russ's question right here. Can we expect magnetic caps in the future? My vote would be no. And the reason for that, I mean, I don't think he's working on that because that click is so assertive on the bottle. And it's so unique to take it off by just a little twist. It pops the seal. I think that just the mechanism of the on and off of the cap.
That's sexy.
It's just so assertive. That's the best word. It's a hard click, and that's one bottle in any of the bottles from Zaharoff. That's the one fragrance I can say I wouldn't hesitate to pick up by the cap. You can go to town shaking it. I mean, you'd have to be really aggressive to where it would twist the bottle for the cap to even come off and you drop the bottle.
And that's what all you have
with
to
magnetic, there's more risk involved. And magnetic caps are cool, but this is the one time I'm against it.
Just twist. The whole
mechanism. That click is just it's a strong click.
And the mechanism, I designed everything. The neck, the low profile sprayer, the innards of the cap. You see the step on the bottle. This is all created by I created this, and it's made in France. And so so to give you, and so someone like Divine said the business is limited by production constraints. Mm-hmm. I ordered pumps. I ordered 50,000 pumps last February, and French pumps, and I just now this month getting them in, and so it's a year and a half, and now time has passed. I need more, and so it's that kind of stuff. I ordered glass bottles from Luigi Barmioli in May, and they're going into production in the spring. So, so there's no more small bottles after this year. None of the new bottles are going to be small because I don't have any. They're going to be the large bottles. So it's a lot of constraints too, but it's good. You have to be very careful because you could also trip and fall if you grow too fast. And then your bottles, and then your perfume. I'm very careful with it. You have to be careful with the partners you choose because you could have the wrong partner, and all of a sudden your bottles end up on the gray market. And
they dump your stock to Fragrance Net, and you're like, what the hell?
And I don't want that either.
Yeah.
I'm very careful with partners. I've got the Australia. We sell to Chile, the UK, the Italian distributor. I mean, we're very careful with what we do with the Zaharoff product. I'm trying to think. There's other countries. Why? India. My Indian partner is very strong. I mean,
Chile.
South American one, yes. And and we get requests all the time. I mean, from all over the world to carry Zaharoff, but I'm not there. I can't do it. I get excited and then I ship it. I do the first order, and then it's like there's a reorder, and I'm like, I don't have product. So it's something that has to. Where am I going with this? It's not online. These are actual stores and boutiques, and they're putting Zaharoff in there. And when they sell out of their product, which is normal, it needs to be restocked, and I don't.
Yeah, it needs to restock.
Yeah.
So Truth Fu has asked 3 times. He wants to make sure we see it, but I'm actually going to put a number on this. George, what are your favorites from your own house? Maybe give me your top 3, and then what other houses would you suggest to follow? Give me 3 of each. 3 of your favorite Zaharoffs, and your 3 like these are houses you should check out. Okay,
so they're all my children.
Pick your 3 favorite kids.
Jesus. I wear so my 3 that my go-to right now for this is Noir, Citrine, and rosé.
I wore Noir last night. That was my sin of the evening. I haven't worn it in a long time.
And Noir, I could switch it up because the base is in another. So I could wear Noir and then I could do rosé at night. It's the same.
Same base.
The same base, and it's
Yeah, that's a lesser known fact, guys. Noir has been used as the base for a few fragrances now. Rosé, Tabac, and is it just those two currently? I think so. Tabac and Citrine is based off of Noir too.
Right, and that's Royale X too. Citrine and Royale have a connection together too. Citrine is just freaking absolutely incredible. I'm obsessed with it. I go through bottles of this. This is my second bottle.
At the beginning of this stream, I had somebody mention Citrine and said it's gorgeous, but after a few minutes, they can't smell it. And I brought you up. I was like, well, George gets incredible sillage from it. And then for me, it's not real strong off my skin, but I get pretty good longevity. But the only way I get good projection is if my body heats up, because this fragrance needs the heat. Right. You wear this one to the gym a lot, right?
Oh my God, yes, and I'm smelling it, and it's just makes me happy, and I do my workouts, and I'm smelling myself, and the trainer that I work with wears X or triple X, and that's also really, and I love it. I just awesome, and anyway, I love it. So it's rosé. It's Zaharoff Signature Rosé, and if you notice, it's capital. So it's Zaharoff Signature Rosé and Tabac and Noir and Royale, all caps. Let me see here. I'm very, very with my branding here. Divine, I think the business of fashion. I've taught the business of fashion. I've taught menswear because many may or may not know I was a menswear designer for 20 some years. And did men's tailored clothing, suits, shirts, ties, shoes. I designed all of that. And I had a license with Brooks Brothers, and that ended when they filed bankruptcy. So right now I'm just doing my fragrances and my leather goods and tobacco, and I have a couple other things coming. Fashion is very requires a huge infrastructure and a lot of investment, and I miss designing clothing, but I like the space I'm in right now with my accessories. Where am I going with this? Hi, Melly Mel. So I think the business of fashion, the marketing, and the whole global business I get excited about, and it's just really an incredible business to be in if you could find your little patch, because a small brand could, a small brand in the fashion business, $30 million, business is not big when it comes to the global luxury goods sector. And so a small little guy could have a really good business, either in their neighborhood, like in one city, or if they expand outwards. I mean, so anyway, because he just did his master's degree, he said last summer.
And then the second part of this question was, we'll go with 3. What's 3 houses you would suggest to follow?
So
outside of your own.
I have my own. I know I have a lot of business owners that have their own perfume houses. And for me, I'm more impressed with how they run their businesses. And I'm very impressed with my friend Mo at Kajal. He inspires me. He has been a huge wind for my sales to help, take Zaharoff to the next level. He helped me a great deal, and I'm very grateful to him for that. I also find Argos to be a very stand-up person, and he has really good fragrances like Kajal does. And my third, I really, I'm going to put them in this category together because I love them as people. I love them as brands, and I can't want to put one on top of the other. And I'm not naming Kajal 1, Argos 2, just putting it all.
No, it's not ranked. Just your favorite 3. Yeah.
I love what EJ is doing. EJ Wells with Happy Land. I love what she's upstairs. I love what oh my God, I just got thrown off.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Rhythm,
Niles.
City Rhythm fragrances. I love
I
what
figured Niles.
Niles. I'm just a huge fan of Niles and what Niles is doing. These young perfume houses, these young, but you know what I mean. These smaller perfume houses that are putting in the work, that are doing it right. How incredible is that? You know, it's incredible and it's very inspiring. Did I miss anyone? I the I have his perfume here. Yeah, I keep the perfumes around me in my home and here because it inspires me. This is City Rhythm, by the
That's
way,
Manhattan. Yeah.
in Manhattan. I keep the fragrances because they inspire me. I also have the On Average Joe, and that's at the house.
Yeah. On average patch.
And that is done by Michael Dinsmore. So these people that are actually doing it right, I just love that. I love it, and it inspires me, and we inspire each other, and that's awesome.
Let's see. So Jeremiah asked, have we discussed what's next for George? So we did touch on that. The next release is Leather to Back. That's going to be the fall release.
Yeah.
He's got some really good stuff on the rise. I like what I said earlier about it is it's going to rival Rosé for best of the house.
Here's a sneak preview. Here's the cap for the
Leather to Back.
To back.
Yeah.
So that's the cap. Here's one thing I haven't shown anybody, Ross. Here you go.
Exclusives.
But I appreciate you giving me this opportunity just to chat with you, Ross. I know I did a lot of talking.
No. I'm glad you jumped on. It's always nice. Look, I love chopping it up with the chat. That's the main reason I do these live streams. But on occasion, it's nice to bring somebody on just to get a different perspective and change up the conversation a little bit, but still involve the audience as much as we can, while still allowing, like you're who's on screen this time, still allowing you to speak freely and get your point across and maybe take some questions from the chat.
And I'm very grateful for that. Hi, Rio de Janeiro. We have a carioca in the house. Someone who is from Rio de Janeiro is called a carioca. And I'm from Rio de Janeiro. I follow Ross and Justin. I really want to know George perfumes. Do you send to Brazil, George? Raphael, if you send me a email, george@zaharoff.com, I will send you a sample. I could send you a sample to Rio de Janeiro. Brazil is very challenging because of the taxes of goods coming into the country. I have a couple partners in Brazil that I've been working with. Maybe next year or the year after to be doing that. I would have to ramp up my production in order to do that. I'll give you guys one example. I was going to move to France. I opened the office in Paris. In Russia, there is a 3,000. In Russia, they have the perfumeries are in pharmacies. And they wanted to carry Zaharoff, and that's 3,000 across the whole country. That's huge for a small guy like Zaharoff. So yeah. I just started slowly preparing myself. We opened the office in France. We're doing production in France. We're moving everything. The large bottles will all be made in France, the small in the US, because it's about €250 price point for the large Zaharoff bottles. And the war happens in Russia, which now puts everything to a halt. And so instead of moving to France, I bought a house here in Chicago, and I'll wait it out. But in the meantime, I could do my expansion plans into other countries. Why am I saying this all to you? Because there's a plan to all this. You can't just jump in and open a country. It's got to be done right. And I don't want to lose control. And I'm not in a hurry to bring in. Does that, you know what I mean? I don't need to expand that quickly either. Mm-hmm. So the clone houses, I have a hard time with clone houses because they're not a threat. I don't think it's a threat. But for me to launch a fragrance, let's say it costs me $1 million. And of the 10 no, let me get myself out of here. Let's talk about a fashion house like Dior or whoever, or even a smaller brand like Amouage. You have $1 million that goes into the research and development of a fragrance. They launch it, and out of the 10 fragrances that they launch, 2 of them are going to be winners. Now, those 2 winners are now taken and cloned. That's I have a problem with. I have big issues with that. I know Ross and I, we talk about it, and you know, Ross, your feelings on that, and I won't state it. Why don't you just say, what are your feelings on clones?
I don't have a problem with them because it's the inevitable. That's like trying to put a stop to fake Louis Vuitton purses and stuff like that. Like it's the inevitable. It's basically brands have to learn how to coexist with them, because in some instances, let's say a fragrance is on the weaker side, but it smells amazing. Then a clone house will make a high oil concentration version and it performs amazing.
Right.
That can be a great move for some people, because some people, as much as they want to experience this $200 fragrance, it's just never going to happen in their budget. So spending $25 on 1 ounce of this, praised clone version of it might make sense for them. So from a consumer standpoint, I get it. I get it. I'm a consumer as well. But as far as supporting the original creation, I firmly believe that's always the best route, because going back to what I said about that fresh fragrance that didn't last that long, but now you have this high oil concentration version, the magic that made you love the original may be missing from going with that higher oil concentration clone, because they ramped up the oils, but it wasn't created originally, that scent profile, to be what the clone house did with it. So that's where you get your discrepancies and how close they are to one another. And you'll get this crazy level of projection and performance as far as longevity, and maybe get some good projection, but you just don't get the exact same feeling sometimes as you do with the original. So that's the only thing that people really need to understand when they're going to do that, is you're not going to get the exact same experience with every single clone that you would the original. So if you're looking for the experience and usually the better quality, it's best to go with the original. Right. But I can completely understand where some people are coming from with, because there's been a handful of occasions where I'm like, just get the clone, because it actually is the better experience. It's all about the experience.
Right. And it's personally, because I know a lot of business owners that a lot of small companies that have their fragrances cloned, and they get distraught about it. I don't know. So there's other two different perspectives on clones, and I respect his part, and I'm glad it's a different viewpoint. And so, yeah, so that's the thought on that. Jeremiah, I just printed out I'm going to send you a replacement for your tobacco. The tobacco labels were meant to be delicate, because it's a
cigar wrapper.
It's a cigar wrapper, and the company that makes cigar wrappers made the sticker on the bottles. So it was meant to age. It was meant to, get old as you use it.
The more you touch it, it gets scuffs. It gets that
right,
patinaed look to it.
And that's what I wanted. But if you're still in the same address in Ohio, I will. I have a label here. I'm going to put it in the mail, and I'll send you one, so you could take off with Goop. Or what is that, Goop? It's Goop, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Goop Gone.
Stickers are like,
it's called Goop Gone.
You're gonna have a tough time with that, but if you're able to take a scraper and scrape it off, I'll send you a new one. You could use that one. So I'll stick it in today's mail.
Robert, nice to see you. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, it's like anybody that watches my clone videos, I always say it's best to go with the original, but here's a few that if you're going the route of clones, I believe are actually worthy of checking out.
Right.
And like Alexandria's version of Sauvage Elixir. I understand why people are looking for clones of that, because it's a Sauvage flanker that, is 160 plus, and it's not easy to find discounted, whereas Alexandria's version, pretty damn spot on, and you can get it for a fraction of the cost. So that's the argument there. And then you also see, the other side of the coin, who this gentleman cannot stand clones. And I get it, that because he's absolutely right. It's the hard work put in by the perfumer, owner of the brand.
Ross, you've worked with Mon, you've worked with Claude. You see the tremendous infrastructure that is needed to provide fragrances. All my fragrances are IFRA compliant. There's offices all over the world that handle the handling of oils, down to what farmer and what area, it's like everything is so properly managed that some of the clone houses, you don't know where a lot of these oils are coming from. You don't know. Like, I wanted to make sure that there's no children harvesting, you know, even anything from the boxes to the caps. You needed infrastructure to manage all of that. And that says something as well, right? So when you have this infrastructure that's creating these fragrances and then it gets copied and then you don't know how it's being made or where the oils are coming from. I mean, it says a lot on the back side of things too. So
here's another thing that a lot of these smaller clone houses or clone houses in general, I don't think they take into consideration, because when you're seeing 50% and 40% and 35%, you know where I'm going with this, George. Right. There's certain oils that can become toxic to the skin at a certain concentration. Like there's certain renditions of George's fragrances that Mon tells him, we cannot go higher than this because it becomes toxic for the skin. Like some fragrances will be at 28%. Some they can go to 40. It depends on the oils, but I don't think I could be wrong here. I'm just speaking from an assumption, but I'm pretty confident that that's not taken into consideration with people, you know, just creating their own fragrances and blending their own oils, because it's not regulated like it is from a Givaudan, from a Mon, for example, where this is what they do. And it's a massive, like you were saying, massive infrastructure where everything's has to be a certain way and IFRA compliant and laws for different countries and so on. Because
a lot of that, you know, when we spray something, the oils that are on our skin, they're being absorbed by the body. And you just have to be careful what the percentage is and what you're absorbing in your body. And a lot of these companies, I'm not calling anyone out, God bless everyone, is that you don't know if they're compliant. You don't know if they've done testing to make sure that the percentage that they're doing, let's say 50, 40, 60, 70% concentration, if that is being toxic, the body's absorbing that. And that, you know, anyway. And things happen. I understand things happen, but I'd rather know that whatever I'm doing, I've done my best to make sure that there's safety and fairness, fair wage, that what I'm doing isn't making a huge, isn't destroying, you know, some river in Indonesia. Like I just want to be careful with all of the stuff that I'm doing. The only thing that I wish I could do was do something where it was sustainable, but it's hard having a fragrance, the box, the bottle, the cap. I wish there was some way, the system where I could reuse, but it's not, the infrastructure and on the global marketplace isn't, and I'm hoping that as a category that could happen one day, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, and one thing I wanted to make a fragrance journey, Robert, I'm a huge fan of yours. I've met Robert, Fragrance Journey 01, and I just
Robert's good people.
Shout out and say everyone's wanted to say that, and much love to you and everyone in the room. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. So you're logging out, Georgie?
I'm logging out. You want to meet my partner in crime, Antonia?
Yeah, bring Antonia on
with Ross. There's a couple hundred people in the room, I think. I don't
Seriously?
know.
Just 60, a little over 60 right now. Hey, Antonia.
This is Antonia.
Hi, guys.
My partner in crime in Zaharoff. And so you guys, we're gonna go see The Devil Wears Prada in Chicago. So we're excited to play. Yeah, the musical.
Oh, it's over there. I thought it was over here.
We're being recorded and watching the comments here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's your scent of the day? Are you wearing a fragrance today?
What else?
You're wearing rosé?
Yeah, of course.
I'm wearing rosé too.
It's a big favorite around the office over there.
Right. Thank you, everybody. Sure. Much love to everyone. Namaste, and God bless you guys. Thanks, Ross.
Have fun, guys. Good. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, George. Good to see you, Antonia.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Allie. Bye, John. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Good people. Good people. A lot of great knowledge, experience, different culture, you know, really, really good people, Georgia and Antonia. So I guess we'll go ahead and shut it down. We've done 1 hour and 20 minutes. It was nice of George to jump on. That wasn't expected. I literally got a random text that said, send me the link. Okay, that never happens, because I know he watches stuff while he's working. he has his playlist, and then if somebody's live like me or Eugene or Dan or whoever, on average Joe, he'll jump on and watch the lives. He tries to support as much as he can, and normally I send him a link, but this time he actually reached out for the link, so that was nice. I appreciate you, George. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for being here. We covered in this high 60s, low 70s. Not the biggest crowd, not the smallest crowd. It's a midday live stream. I get it. It's not going to be like an evening or weekend live stream with 100 to 200 viewers. But I thank all of you so much for taking time out of your day, because Fridays can be kind of hectic trying to get into the weekend, finishing up work. I understand all of that. And I appreciate all of you that were here. Thank you to everybody that gave super chats. You never have to do that. It's greatly appreciated when it does happen. And hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure to check out the video from this morning, 10 cheap fragrances that are actually worth trying out under $50. And see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Have a good one.